Everybody knows all about Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift's whirlwind romance. But what a lot of people don't remember is that the NFL's darling was actually in a several years-long relationship with sports reporter Kayla Nicole before Miss Tay Tay. And there's been a rumor for years that the two split because he was cheap and made her pay for half of everything, which she just wasn't having. But then recently, Kayla set those rumors to rest in probably the worst way possible. She basically said there's no way she'd be caught dead paying half. And now she's got so many people dragging her, like Cameron, that she's had to come out and make another statement because her mama told her how bad that made her look. There's a lot of drama going on, so let's jump right in. This is what Kayla Nicole said on an interview with the Unapologetically Angel podcast, and it's this interview that people have mixed feelings about. Back in 2022, when Kayla and Travis broke up for seemingly the last time, Barstool Sports put out a report that the two had split because they had fights about money. And Kayla didn't like that he made her split every bill. So she responded to that allegation in this interview.
So you guys broke up at that point because
No, this is the question. Do I look like I would go 50-50 on bills?
No.
Okay.
Now there's two different ways that people are taking that. On the one hand, if a girl wants to go get her back, who are we to judge? But on the other, there's a whole lot of people who are thinking, girl, you did not just say that. And Cameron and Mace had some words for her.
And look at what happened. She called herself flexing and got a bigger flex on her. Now he's with somebody he doesn't have to pay a dime for. So it didn't work. You lost him to somebody with more money that will do 50-50.
I can honestly see that because if there's one thing that Taylor Swift doesn't have to worry about, it's money. It's estimated that she made $2 billion off of ticket sales from the Eras tour, and then around another $4.1 billion from streams.
What do I look like to not be paying? What does somebody look like that doesn't have to pay for 50? What does that look like? I don't get it. I don't understand. You look broke? I don't understand what's the look. I don't care how beautiful you are. When I heard that interview, you're ugly. That's just my attitude.
Yeah, your attitude.
You could be the best looking girl in the world, but you're ugly. I didn't even like that answer right there made me say never.
Toxic.
Yeah, I never. Just the attitude.
Wait a minute, Killer. Wait a minute. You might want.
They pulled the pictures of her and he didn't even care. See, he didn't mean she's physically ugly. He means that if she's not willing to put in the work the same as her man is in the relationship, then that's not attractive to him. And a lot of men feel that way these days.
I pulled her images up because you know why? She's on all these red carpets, and when you scroll down on the images, she's on like the top 10 photos of red carpets. Then you just see her going and Taylor Swift on all the red carpets. When I'm scrolling up, she just disappears after a while. No more red carpet, no nothing now. And don't get me wrong, I like pretty, but your attitude, dryness.
There's some men who are cool with a woman who wants to be kept. And if that's you, that's you. I understand that. I'm not judging. I know that there's stuff like sugar baby relationships and trophy wives and stuff like that out there. And some of those can be really loving relationships where everyone's fulfilled. But honestly, that's not for everyone. And I personally agree that the attitude that Kayla presented in that interview wasn't a good look. And before you come for me, I'm not the only one that feels this way. But I'm gonna present you with arguments from both sides of the aisle because I'm fair and unbiased like that. No, it's a bad look on her. Grown if you want, but it's clear she still wants that man. But he's off with a white billionaire who ain't thinking about no 50-50 discussions. So her with this whole, do I look like I'd go 50-50 looks stupid. He probably left her for being overly materialistic and honestly, not worth the headache. We all have our own opinions of our value, but clearly the man she wanted didn't feel the same. And so it makes her look dumb as to see her talk like that. I don't like them, but it was a terrible interview. Some things don't have to be said publicly. She comes across as vapid when she speaks. I truly believe that Travis actually cared about her. However, she started to look crazy saying rude shit online, and her online behavior was inappropriate and borderline embarrassing. He's moved on. I would have too. Can you imagine having a child with someone this remedial? And on the other side of the argument, we have when people assumed Travis Kelce was cheap and that Kayla was going half on bills, people clowned her. Now they're dragging her because she said she don't do 50-50. They would rather see a sister struggling than being taken care of. I thought everyone was entitled to their own preferences. People are always going to oppose preferences regardless if it benefits the woman or not. You cannot worry about what outsiders think. The rules in your relationship are made up by you and your partner, and if he approved, who gives a what Mason Cameron says. Both are rappers and both probably cheated on all their partners. I feel like Kayla should have never let her preference be known. If she was a true gold digger / woman who was out to live off men, which I think she isn't, she would know never to even mention anything money related. The smart ones pretend like they don't date for money, but also enjoy all the benefits of being a well-kept wag. They target players who are generous and not some cheap-ass stunt queen like Travis Kelce. Travis is a straight-up bitch and jumped on Tater Tot because he only saw an opportunity to get his name out there and more money when he retires from football. Travis and his brother got that lucrative deal for their boring podcast, all because of this association with Tater. He's cheap and a hillbilly mess. Kayla dodged the bullet, but she needs to stop doing these random interviews with nobodies and up her game. Y'all, stop it. Not a hillbilly mess. That one had me rolling for like 3 whole minutes. But one thing that commenter had right, Kayla really does need to stop with these random interviews and check herself. You know how I know? Her mama told her so. On the I Am Athlete podcast, she discussed the backlash from the previous podcast interview. Looking back on my decisions, even recently sitting down and doing a podcast, I felt like there were moments where I articulated myself in a really good way. And there are moments where if I could go back, I would maybe change the way I said things because it didn't fully embody my character or my heart. But that's something I'm learning.
There were moments where I articulated myself in a really good way, and then there were moments where if I could go back, I would maybe change the way that I said things because it didn't fully embody my character or my heart. But that's something that I'm learning, right? As athletes, y'all have mastered that because you've done that your whole life.
To a certain extent.
Kayla said she's learning she doesn't have to answer all the questions.
Trying to continue to have the courage to stand in my power, to be myself, to answer questions honestly and transparently, but I also think that media training and a little PR goes a long way because you don't have to answer every question. Like every comment or DM doesn't deserve a response. I'm learning that.
Here's my question to you.
She said later in the episode that, I thought that I handled things with grace, thought that I answered the question to the best of my ability. The public had their interpretation of things, didn't matter to me. But she started getting emotional and said, my mom calls me though, and it's those conversations, that's what matters to me because she's offended. She's hurt by the way people are perceiving her daughter. She's hurt by the negative headlines and the way people are spinning it. And even my mom was like, maybe next time we don't answer those questions. Honestly, I just think that's kind of heartwarming. Her mama saw Kayla out here being dragged for filth because of what she said and being called a gold digger. And honestly, worse. And this woman's mama just sweetly told her, well, maybe next time let's not do that. And it's also sweet that Kayla didn't care what everyone else thought about her until her mama spoke on the matter, and that's the one person she paid attention to. Travis has actually talked about the rumors of him being a cheapskate. Back in January 2023, he went on the Pivot podcast and said, don't buy into that shit. She had a very financially stable life and what she was doing in her career. But you've got to be crazy if you think I never helped or gave her a couple thousand to grab some food, or she gave me some money to go get some food. We were in a relationship for 5 years. $100 here, $100 there wasn't even thought about. Absolutely ridiculous. Kayla did actually say on the Unapologetically Angel podcast that she doesn't split the bills and that's her preference. To each his own. If people like to split their bills with their man, I think that's what you should do. I don't do that. And she had more dating advice as well. Always have your own. Not even just your own money, but like your own career, your own goals, your own aspirations, because it's really easy to get caught up in their dream and their vision for their life. Something that I had to learn early on was like, your relationship could be over tomorrow, and what do you have? And when I had that aha moment, I got my shit back together so quick. It sounds like that outside of doing podcast interviews, she shouldn't be doing and speaking on things when she should probably take a seat. It sounds like outside of doing podcast interviews, she shouldn't be doing and speaking on things when she should probably take a seat. Kayla is kind of self-actualized. That's actually a revelation that Taylor Swift has spoken about, most recently in her song I Can Do It With a Broken Heart. It seems like these days, Kelce doesn't have much to worry about, but maybe someone should be dressing him? He was recently seen going out to eat with Taylor, who was wearing a gorgeous outfit with a corset, but his button-up shirt had some questionable artwork on it. Okay, I'm just gonna say it. It looks like pictures of people banging. On an episode of New Heights, the show host poked fun at Kelce and asked him about the shirt, which led Travis to make this memorable quote. That'd be crazy if I was wearing a horse shirt. That's crazy, yeah. That's why you've always got to really, you've got to make sure you know what you're wearing, kids, or you're just, everybody can assume now. You heard it straight from Travis Kelce. Don't wear shirts with those horse beans on them, kids. Anyway, that's gonna do it for this video. Personally, not even bothering to try and pay my share bothers me. It may not always work out 50-50, but I'm gonna try, you know? But that's not for everyone. What do you guys think about Kayla Nicole's 50-50 remarks? And what did you think about her mama telling her to not answer every question she got asked? Let me know in the comments, and I'll see you guys in the next video.